Imagine standing alone on a desolate Utah mesa at midnight, the cold wind whispering through the sagebrush, when suddenly a massive, silent craft descends from the sky, its glowing underbelly illuminating the ground like an otherworldly spotlight, hovering just feet above you. Your heart races as it defies gravity. No sound, no exhaust, just an eerie hum vibrating through your bones. What would you do in that frozen moment of terror? This isn't fiction. This is Skinwalker Ranch, a 512-acre property in the Uinta Basin, long shrouded in secrecy and strange occurrences. Nestled between rugged mountains and endless desert, the ranch has been a magnet for the unexplained since the early 20th century. But it was in the 1990s that the UFO phenomena exploded into the public eye. Picture the Sherman family, who bought the ranch in 1994, eager to start a cattle operation in this isolated paradise. At first, the land seemed peaceful, vast fields dotted with grazing animals under a wide blue sky. But soon, the nights turned sinister. One evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon, painting the landscape in deep oranges and purples, Terry Sherman spotted a large, yellowish light approaching from the west. It wasn't a plane or helicopter. It moved too smoothly, too quietly, growing brighter as it neared the ranch. The family watched in stunned silence as the object, roughly the size of a football field, floated overhead, its surface shimmering like liquid metal. No engines roared, no wings flapped, just an unnatural stillness that made the air feel thick and heavy. What could propel such a colossal machine without a whisper? The Shermans grabbed their binoculars, hearts pounding as the craft lingered, scanning the ground with beams of light that pierced the growing darkness. Then, as quickly as it appeared, it shot upward, vanishing into the star-filled sky, leaving only a faint glow on the horizon. But this was no isolated incident. Night after night, similar lights returned, sometimes in formations, dancing across the heavens like coordinated signals from an unknown intelligence. Imagine lying in bed, the ranch house creaking in the wind, when a low vibration shakes the walls, pulling you to the window to see orbs of blue and red light weaving through the trees. The Shermans documented dozens of these sightings, each one more baffling than the last. One particularly chilling event involved a craft that seemed to interact with their livestock. A beam of light shot down from the hovering object, enveloping a calf in a column of energy. The animal froze, then lifted slightly off the ground before the light retracted and the craft sped away. In the morning, the calf was found unharmed but disoriented, as if it had been scanned or probed. Was this some form of extraterrestrial surveillance? Or something more terrestrial, like experimental military tech hidden in plain sight? Theories abound, but answers remain elusive. The isolation of the ranch amplified the fear. The nearest town, Ballard, is miles away, and cell service is spotty at best. No one to call for help when the skies come alive. As word spread, investigators descended on the property. In 1996, billionaire Robert Bigelow, founder of the National Institute for Discovery Science, purchased the ranch after hearing the Shermans' accounts. Bigelow, a known UFO enthusiast with ties to government programs, assembled a team of scientists, including physicists and biologists, to study the phenomena systematically. They set up observation posts on the mesas, equipped with night vision cameras and sensors, scanning the endless night sky for anomalies. And they weren't disappointed. One clear evening, as the team monitored from a ridge, a bright object appeared low on the horizon, pulsing with an internal light that shifted from white to orange. It accelerated toward them at impossible speeds, stopping abruptly overhead, as if aware of their presence. The air grew cold, an unnatural chill that seeped into their gear, despite the summer warmth. Instruments went haywire, compasses spun wildly, batteries drained in seconds. What force could disrupt the electronics from afar? The team captured footage, a triangular shape with lights at each corner, rotating slowly before darting away faster than any known aircraft. Bigelow's group logged over 100 UFO-related events during their tenure, from disc-shaped objects to cylindrical crafts that seemed to phase in and out of visibility. Some appeared solid, casting shadows on the ground. Others were translucent, like projections from another dimension. Imagine peering through a telescope, the stars crisp and infinite, when a shadow eclipses them, a massive black triangle blocking out constellations as it glides silently overhead. The silence was the most unnerving part. No sonic booms, no turbulence, just a void where sound should be. Would you stay and investigate, or flee into the night? These sightings weren't limited to the skies. Ground-based anomalies intertwined with the aerial ones, like glowing portals that opened in midair, spitting out lights that zipped across the ranch. One report described an orange vortex, swirling like a wormhole, from which a small probe-like object emerged, hovering before retreating back into the void. Scientists speculated about interdimensional rifts, where our reality brushes against others. But without concrete evidence, it's all conjecture. The Untah Basin's Native American history adds layers to the mystery. The Ute tribe, who have lived in the area for centuries, speak of the land as cursed, a place where skinwalkers, shape-shifting witches, and star people converge. Ancient petroglyphs nearby depict strange figures with elongated heads and flying discs, hinting that these phenomena stretch back millennia. Could the UFOs be connected to indigenous lore, visitors from the stars revered or feared by early inhabitants? Modern witnesses echo these tales. In 2002, a NEEDS researcher observed a fleet of lights forming geometric patterns above the ranch, as if communicating in code. They pulsed in sequence, brightening and dimming in unison, before scattering like startled birds. The event lasted minutes, but the implications lingered. Intelligent control, perhaps signaling to something below. What message were they sending? As investigations continued, patterns emerged. Sightings peaked during certain lunar phases or after geomagnetic storms, suggesting environmental triggers. Sensors detected unexplained radiation spikes, coinciding with the lights, levels that could affect human health. Team members reported headaches, nausea, even temporary disorientation after close encounters. Was the ranch a hotspot for electromagnetic anomalies that attract or generate these phenomena? Or is it a window to elsewhere, where boundaries thin? Bigelow sold the ranch in 2016 to real estate mogul Brandon Fugal, who relaunched studies under the banner of Adamantium Holdings. Fugal's team, featured on the History Channel's The Secret of Skinwalker Ranch, has employed drones, ground-penetrating radar, and even rockets to provoke responses. In one experiment, they launched a rocket skyward, only to capture a UAP, unidentified aerial phenomenon, intercepting it mid-flight, veering it off course. Footage shows the object, bright and agile, matching the rocket's speed before disappearing. Skeptics dismiss it as lens flare or debris, but analysis suggests otherwise. What technology could achieve such precision? Fugal himself witnessed a cigar-shaped craft during a night watch, its metallic hull reflecting moonlight as it hovered motionless. He described a sense of being watched and intelligence behind the machine. The ranch's airspace is restricted, yet these intruders evade detection. Government involvement whispers through the narrative. Nearby Dugway Proving Ground, a military base dubbed Area 52, tests advanced aircraft. Some theorize the sightings are black-budget projects, holograms, or drones masking secret ops. But witnesses swear the crafts exhibit physics-defying maneuvers, right-angle turns, at max speeds, instantaneous acceleration. No human pilot could survive the G-forces, unless they're unmanned ... or not human at all. As the sun rises over the ranch, casting long shadows across the fields, the mysteries persist. Dozens of documented cases, from the Shermans to present-day scientists, paint a picture of a place where the veil between worlds is thin. But why here? What draws these lights to this remote corner of Utah? And if UFOs are patrolling the skies, what horrors might they be guarding on the ground below? The night air on Skinwalker Ranch hangs heavy, the silence broken only by the distant howl of a coyote echoing across the basin. But beneath that silence, something else stirs, an unnatural hum, low and resonant, vibrating through the earth itself. Researchers have long suspected that the UFOs hovering above aren't just visitors from space, but travelers through something far more unsettling, rifts in the fabric of reality. Imagine standing on a rocky outcrop, the moon casting silver light over the fields. When the sky ahead begins to warp, a circular distortion rippling like heat over asphalt. A glowing orange ring forms in mid-air, edges flickering with plasma-like energy, expanding slowly until it's wide enough to swallow a truck. From within, a cold wind rushes out, carrying the faint scent of ozone and something metallic, unnatural. This is what witnesses describe as the portals of Skinwalker Ranch claimed gateways to other dimensions. The idea isn't new. It echoes the Ute tribe's ancient warnings of cursed ground where the veil between worlds thins. Tribal elders spoke of places where spirits could cross over, doorways that open under the right conditions, often marked by strange lights and distorted air. Modern investigators believe the ranch sits on one such convergence point. During Bigelow's era, the NEEDS team documented multiple incidents of these anomalies. One night, under a clear starry sky, sensors detected a sudden spike in electromagnetic energy near the homestead. Cameras captured a shimmering oval of light materializing 10 feet above the ground, its interior swirling with darker shadows. The portal pulsed rhythmically, as if breathing, while smaller orbs detached from its edges, darting around like scouts before vanishing back inside. Team members felt a pull, a subtle tug on their bodies, as if gravity shifted toward the anomaly. Instruments malfunctioned. Thermometers dropped 20 degrees in seconds. What lies on the other side of such a threshold? Would you step closer, or back away into the darkness? These events weren't rare. Another report detailed a rectangular portal that opened horizontally, like a slit in the night sky, revealing a glimpse of a reddish landscape beyond barren, alien, with unfamiliar stars. For a fleeting moment, a silhouette appeared in the frame, humanoid but elongated, before the rift sealed with a sound like tearing fabric. The witness, a seasoned physicist, described overwhelming dread, a primal instinct screaming that something was watching from the other side. Data logs showed radiation bursts during these openings, levels that could indicate exotic energy sources. Some theorists propose these are wormholes, shortcuts through space-time, stabilized by unknown technology. Others suggest natural geomagnetic faults in the basin create temporary breaches, amplified by the ranch's unique geology. Underground scans reveal vast cavities and metallic anomalies beneath the property, possibly acting as conductors or resonators. Imagine drilling into the earth here, the bit grinding through layers of rock, only to hit something that reflects signals back impossibly fast. Current owner Brandon Fugal's team has pushed these investigations further. Using high-speed cameras and LiDAR, they've captured fleeting distortions in the air, pockets where light bends unnaturally. In one experiment, they fired lasers toward a suspected hotspot, watching beams refract as if passing through invisible lenses. Moments later, a portal allegedly manifested, brief but undeniable on infrared footage, a heat signature blooming from nowhere. Drones sent toward these zones often lose control, spinning wildly before crashing, GPS data corrupted. One drone's final transmission showed a tunnel of light engulfing it, then static. The footage recovered was distorted, frames showing impossible angles, as if reality folded. What forces could manipulate space like this? The portals seem responsive, appearing more frequently during provocative tests, rocket launches, high-energy radar sweeps. It's as if something intelligent monitors the ranch, opening doors only when attention is drawn. Witnesses report hearing voices through the rifts, whispers in unknown languages, or telepathic impressions of curiosity and warning. One researcher felt a message: do not interfere. The fear isn't just visual. It's existential, the realization that our world might be porous, boundaries fragile. Native lore ties these portals to skinwalkers, malevolent entities that traverse realms wearing stolen forms. Could the shapeshifters be interdimensional travelers exploiting these gates? Petroglyphs in nearby canyons depict swirling vortices and figures emerging from them, ancient records of the same phenomena. Skeptics argue optical illusions, atmospheric plasmas like ball lightning amplified by the basin's minerals. But multiple independent teams have recorded similar events over decades, patterns too consistent for coincidence. Fugal's group once set up a circle of sensors around a recurring portal site. At midnight, the air thickened, static electricity crackling on skin. A vertical slit opened, tall as a man, edges glowing blue-white. Inside, darkness deeper than night, absorbing all light. Probes launched toward it vanished without trace, no debris, no echo. The portal lingered for minutes, then collapsed inward with a low boom felt in the chest. Afterward, the ground was scorched in a perfect ring, soil sterilized, no seeds germinating for years. What energy leaves such a mark? Break the fourth wall here. If you were on the team, watching this unfold live on monitors from a safe distance, would you authorize sending a person through, or shut it all down? These claims deepen the ranch's enigma, linking aerial UFOs to ground-based rifts. Many sightings end with crafts entering or exiting these portals, phasing through as if dissolving. And why choose this isolated stretch of Utah desert? The interdimensional theory explains the variety of phenomena. UFOs as vehicles, portals as highways, entities as passengers. But it raises darker questions. Some researchers report poltergeist-like activity following portal events, objects moving, shadows glimpsed in peripheral vision, as if something small slips through unnoticed. Team members have awakened with unexplained marks, scratches and patterns that defy accidental cause. Though no severe harm, the implication chills. Reconnaissance from elsewhere. Is the ranch a natural lab or engineered hotspot? Recent seasons of the TV documentation show portals manifesting closer to observers, lasting longer. One captured on multiple angles, a spherical distortion expanding, revealing a cavernous interior lit by bioluminescent glow. For seconds, structures were visible, geometric, non-human. Then it imploded, leaving ionized air in stunned silence. The team debates ethics. Provoking openings risks inviting more. Yet curiosity drives them forward. What if these rifts connect not just to other places, but other times? Or parallel realities where different rules apply? The possibilities spiral, each more unsettling than the last. But portals are only part of the ranch's terror. Something else prowls the land, tied to these gateways, wearing familiar shapes, but moving wrong. If doorways to other dimensions exist here, what ancient predatory intelligences might have learned to use them? The darkness over the triangle area feels thicker tonight, the kind that presses against your skin as instruments hum quietly in the cold Utah air. Radiation counters occasionally clicked faster, detecting bursts of ionizing particles that rose above background levels and dropped to normal as if switched off. As if responding. Imagine watching the spectrum analyzer in the command center, the quiet hum of fans the only sound, when suddenly the line spikes at 1.6 gigahertz, unwavering, defiant. Team members feel the air change, a subtle pressure, while cattle in nearby fields grow restless. What intelligence modulates that beam? GPS units provide another layer of hard data, or rather, their failures do. Over the infamous triangle, receivers lose lock repeatedly, positions jumping meters in seconds, despite clear skies and multiple satellites overhead. Tracks logged from drones or vehicles veer impossibly, plotting paths that dip underground or loop in figure eights. Engineers recalibrate, shield antennas, yet the drift persists in the same aerial pocket. One flight recorded a drone's altimeter dropping hundreds of feet virtually, while video showed steady hover. Space itself seems warped there, coordinates unreliable. Radiation measurements add urgency. Portable detectors register sharp spikes in gamma and neutron counts, localized to spots no larger than a room. Levels climb briefly to concerning rates, enough to trigger alarms, then plummet. No radioactive sources found, no fallout, no minerals explaining it. In one documented burst, counters hit thousands of counts per minute over baseline, coinciding with a UAP sighting on radar. Team members nearby reported mild nausea, headaches that lingered hours. Medical checks found no lasting effects, but the correlation unsettles. Infrared cameras capture heat anomalies simultaneously. Cold spots plunging 20 degrees or hot blooms in empty air. Thermometers confirm data streams aligning across independent sensors. Lasers fired across the triangle sometimes bend or vanish mid-path, beams deflecting as if encountering invisible barriers. LiDAR scans reveal distortions, point clouds warping where light should pass straight. Rockets launched upward veer off course, predictably over the anomaly zone, telemetry showing lateral forces no wind could impart. Payloads recover intact, but accelerometers log impossible vectors. Drones fare worse, losing control in the same volume, spinning or plummeting despite full batteries and signal. Recovered footage often glitches, frames corrupted in patterns suggesting electromagnetic interference. Spectrum sweeps during these events show broadband noise rising, drowning normal signals. The ranch's isolation amplifies at all no nearby towers, minimal traffic, yet electronics falter selectively. Fugal's team cross-checks with third-party labs, repeating surveys to build datasets. Even biological monitors note stress in livestock, heart rates elevating without visible cause when near hotspots. One night, multiple detectors spiked simultaneously. 1.6 gigahertz blazing, radiation climbing, magnetics swirling. Radar painted a fleeting target overhead, then nothing. As if warned. The data streams flicker in the dim command center, lines of code and waveforms painting the screens in cold blue light. While outside the wind rattles, the trailers parked on this restless ground. But long before sensors and satellites, the people who first walked this basin knew something watched from the shadows, something that wore the land's own skin. The Ute tribe has called the Uinta Basin home for centuries, their stories woven into the red rock canyons and sage-covered mesas that surround the ranch. They speak of the land as a place where boundaries blur, where the natural world meets the unseen, and where certain paths are best avoided after dark. Elders pass down warnings. This stretch of desert lies on ancient trails traveled by forces not meant for human eyes. The name Skinwalker Ranch itself draws from lore not originally Ute, but from their neighbors to the south, the Navajo. In Navajo tradition, a skinwalker, or Yi-Naaldlushi, is a witch who breaks sacred taboos to gain the power to shift forms, often into coyotes, wolves, or owls, moving with malicious intent under cover of night. These beings are feared deeply, spoken of only in whispers, for naming them invites their attention. Historical tensions between the Ute and Navajo run deep, marked by raids, enslavement, and shifting alliances during the arrival of European settlers. One persistent oral tradition claims that, in retaliation for past conflicts, including times when Ute bands aided forces against the Navajo placed a curse upon the land now encompassing the ranch. This alleged curse unleashed skinwalkers to haunt the basin, guardians or punishers that stalk intruders forever. While some Ute representatives have stated they've never heard direct accounts of such a specific curse, the fear persists across generations. Tribal members describe the ranch as in the path of the skinwalker, a forbidden zone where strange lights and unnatural creatures have been encountered for as long as memory reaches back at least 15 generations, by some reckonings. Ute lore includes its own spirits and anomalies. Water babies in reservoirs that lure the unwary, glowing orbs rising from sacred springs, and shadowy figures that mimic voices to lead travelers astray. Nearby Bottle Hollow Reservoir, built on Ute land in the 1970s, carries tales of cursed waters, where drownings and disappearances feel tied to older disturbances. The isolation amplifies it, all vast emptiness under endless skies, where echoes carry far and footsteps seem to follow even when no one is there. Imagine camping on the reservation's edge, the fire crackling low, when a howl rises that shifts pitch unnaturally, too human at the end. Would you investigate the sound, or douse the flames and wait for dawn? Ancient rock art scattered across the basin adds silent testimony. Petroglyphs etched into canyon walls depict elongated figures with oversized heads, swirling vortices that resemble portals, and disc-like shapes hovering above the ground. Some panels show beings emerging from circular doorways, arms raised, surrounded by stars or beams of light. Others illustrate massive animals, dire wolf-like creatures, long extinct or hybrid forms that blur man and beast. Archaeologists date many to the Fremont culture, over 1,000 years old, predating both Ute and Navajo presence. Yet the motifs echo modern reports: craft in the sky, rifts in the air, watchers from elsewhere. One recurring symbol is the spiral, a portal motif in many indigenous traditions, representing journeys between worlds. Near the ranch, faded carvings revealed through modern imaging match descriptions of phenomena witnessed today: glowing rings, figures stepping through invisible thresholds. Ute stories tie these sites to places of power, where shamans once communed with spirits, but also where malevolent forces could cross. The basin's geology, rich in minerals, fault lines, and underground voids, may have drawn ancient peoples here for vision quests, amplifying experiences that became legend. But legends evolve with encounters. In the 1950s and 60s, long before the Shermans or Bigelow, locals on the reservation reported fleets of lights maneuvering overhead, mirroring petroglyph discs. Cattle found drained echoed older tales of predators that take without leaving tracks. Even Spanish explorers in the 1700s noted fireballs dancing over campfires in this very basin, centuries before aircraft. The Ute view these not as new, but as eternal cycles of activity tied to the land's restless spirit. Some elders believe provoking the ground, digging too deep, or shining bright lights skyward awakens what sleeps below. Modern investigations, with rockets and radar, seem to confirm it. Phenomena intensify with intrusion. Is this the curse responding, skinwalkers, or older entities guarding their domain? Or a natural convergence, misinterpreted through cultural lenses across millennia? The rock art offers no answers, only images frozen in time figures gazing upward, portals yawning open, crafts descending. Stand before one such panel at dusk, the stone still warm from the sun, shadows lengthening into the carvings. You might feel watched, a chill unrelated to the dropping temperature. What would you do if a faint hum began, matching the vibration in the data logs miles away? The indigenous warnings predate every scientific reading, every captured anomaly. They knew this place as thin, a membrane between here and elsewhere. UFOs entering rifts, creatures shifting shape, signals from beneath, all echo the stories carved in stone and carried in oral memory. If the legends hold truth, the ranch isn't haunted by one thing, but many, drawn across time to this convergence. And as measurements spike and portals flicker on screens, the ancient voices whisper the same caution. Some doors once noticed, notice back. But what happens when the watchers decide the veil has thinned too far, and something ancient chooses to step fully through? The moon hangs low over the Unta Basin, casting pale light on the silent fields where ancient petroglyphs whisper of watchers from the stars, and modern sensors still hunt for signals that shouldn't exist. All these threads, UFOs descending silently, portals flickering open, instruments capturing impossible data, indigenous legends warning of shapeshifters lead to one inescapable question. Why has the United States government invested millions in this remote corner of Utah? The connection begins not with public announcements, but with quiet visits and classified budgets. In the mid-2000s, a Defense Intelligence Agency scientist named James Lakatsky learned of the ranch's history through Robert Bigelow's private investigations. Lakatsky requested a visit, stepping onto the property where previous teams had logged anomalies that defied explanation. What he reportedly encountered there, a strange, unearthly presence, convinced him the phenomena warranted serious study. He briefed Senate Majority Leader Harry Reid, who shared an interest in unidentified aerial phenomena. Reid, along with colleagues, secured funding through a discrete line item in the Department of Defense. Budget: $22 million for the Advanced Aerospace Weapon System Applications Program, or AAWSAP. The contract went to Bigelow Aerospace Advanced Space Studies, a subsidiary of Bigelow's company, allowing government oversight while maintaining distance. From 2008 onward, BOSS teams deployed to the ranch, equipped with advanced sensors, night vision gear, and radiation detectors. They documented the same patterns: electromagnetic spikes, unexplained lights, and transient radiation bursts coinciding with sightings. Reports flowed back to the DIA, building a database of events that blended aerial threats with ground-based anomalies. The program's scope extended beyond the ranch, analyzing military encounters worldwide. But Skinwalker served as a focal point, a living laboratory for phenomena that might reveal breakthrough technologies or unknown risks. Imagine classified briefings in Washington, analysts poring over footage of orbs emerging from rifts, debating if these represented foreign adversaries, natural anomalies, or something beyond current understanding. Would you sit through those meetings, knowing the data challenged everything taught in textbooks? AAWSAP's findings fed into related efforts, including the better-known Advanced Aerospace Threat Identification Program, which focused more narrowly on military UAP reports. But the ranch's broader strangeness, portals, entities, health effects on observers, remained a core interest. Declassified documents and insider accounts, cleared for release, describe investigators experiencing disorientation, equipment failures, and fleeting glimpses of non-human intelligences. Some personnel reported phenomena following them home, subtle disturbances that faded over time. The program ended officially around 2012, funding redirected, but interest persisted quietly. Nearby military installations, like Dugway Proving Ground, have long tested advanced systems, fueling speculation of overlap. Pilots report instrumentation glitches in the basin's airspace, patterns noted in government reviews. Recent Pentagon reports on unidentified anomalous phenomena reference historical programs without naming the ranch directly, yet insiders confirm its role in shaping ongoing policy. Current owner Brandon Fugal has stated no active government contracts fund his team's work, emphasizing private scientific inquiry. Yet the ranch's data has informed broader discussions, with team members briefing officials on findings. In 2024 and into 2025, congressional hearings and the All-Domain Anomaly Resolution Office continue examining UAP, building on decades of quiet study. The isolation here feels deliberate, the vast emptiness ensuring few outsiders witness what unfolds. Nights stretch long, the air humming faintly as experiments probe deeper. Sensors capture spikes that echo AAWSAP logs, patterns repeating across ownership changes. If government involvement stemmed from national security concerns, potential threats mimicking advanced tech, what happens when the phenomena prove neither foreign nor domestic? The data suggests reactivity, events intensifying with observation, as if aware of scrutiny. Ancient warnings from Ute and Navajo traditions align with modern measurements, portraying a place where worlds brush close. Government files, partially released, hint at conclusions too sensitive for full disclosure. They document something persistent, intelligent, elusive. Stand on the ridge at dusk, the wind carrying echoes from canyons etched with portal symbols. You might sense the weight of observation, not just from teams below, but from elsewhere. What would you conclude if handed those classified reports? Illusion, misidentification, or evidence of a deeper reality? Skinwalker Ranch endures as America's most documented paranormal hotspot because layers of evidence converge eyewitness accounts, spanning generations, indigenous knowledge, private research, scientific instrumentation, and yes, government scrutiny. No single explanation satisfies all data. Instead, it points to complexity beyond current paradigms. The UFOs, portals, signals, legends, and measurements form a tapestry, suggesting we're not alone in observing this place. Something here observes back, patient across centuries. The mystery isn't resolved. It's deepened, inviting careful inquiry over fear. Perhaps the true revelation lies in accepting uncertainty, in continuing to ask without demanding easy answers. The basin remains quiet tonight, stars unwavering overhead. But beneath the surface, the ground remembers every probe, every question. And in that silence, the story continues. If this journey through Skinwalker Ranch's enigmas has left you questioning the boundaries of our world, consider diving deeper yourself. What do you think is really happening here? Drop your thoughts in the comments, like if you're intrigued, and subscribe for more explorations into the unexplained.